PlayPosit is a free Web 2.0 tool that you can use to make your videos a less passive experience by adding interactive elements to them. In PlayPosit, you create something called a bulb, which is the interactive experience for the students. Now, in the free version of PlayPosit, you can't upload your own videos. However, you could easily upload your videos to YouTube and then link them from there. You can create as many bulbs as you want, so you have unlimited amounts of bulbs, but the number of attempts that students make is what is limited in the free version. So you get 100 attempts per month, per calendar month, that is, for use. So for example, let's say you currently have 50 students, you would be able to use 2 bulbs and have each student interact with both of those bulbs to reach your total of 100 for the month. Signing up is super easy. You just go to go.playposit.com and click the blue sign up button. And you can sign in using Google. And it'll say that it wants to access your account. You'll click allow. And this is the PlayPosit interface. So on our left navigation panel, we see our account. You see an area where you can create your bulbs. You can organize things by folders. You can also create classes. Now, one note, you need to create a class if you intend to actually maintain the data. So for example, if you have a quiz embedded in your bulb and you actually want to see the data, the student responses, then you'll need to create a class rather than just linking to the bulbs. And there is also a library of pre-made bulbs that you can explore and possibly use the work of someone else rather than reinventing a wheel. So in the bulb area, you would just click add a new bulb to create a new one. And it has some tips that you can work through if you want, or you can go straight to enter the design area. From here, you can see your options. Again, uploading is not available in the free version. So I'm just going to go to YouTube and search for my video. And I'll click done. Now from here, there are a couple things I can do. So I can edit this video segment if I wanted to trim and make it just a smaller version, only a portion of the video. I can delete if I added the wrong video. I can add another video, so you could put multiple videos together. Okay, so then you can go ahead and click the play button to play the video.
It's going to explain how you can set.
Or you can use the button at the bottom to move along the timeline to the approximate area where you wanted to add some interactions. Notice up here we have video segments, interactions, and review. I'm going to click on interactions. And there is an option to expand the template gallery. So I wanted to show you some of the things that you can put in. So you can create a poll at the end. You can create a discussion forum that's just open so that the learners can comment at any point in the video. You can add a built-in pre and post assessment. So that would just be 2 questions at the beginning, 2 at the end. A pop quiz is 4 multiple choice questions at the end of the bulb. And then you can also have a template that's one of each. But again, you can also just add interactions by moving to the correct area on the timeline and choosing add an interaction. So this way you can see some of the choices that you have. You can have different question types, multiple choice, check all, just a free written answer, fill in the blank, polling, or a discussion. You can add an annotation that will allow you to make a note. So when a certain part of the video comes up, the student knows to maybe pay attention to something in particular. And you can also add learning objectives at the beginning. That would be a good instructional design concept. You can also do a check for understanding or word bank. So you have a lot of different options for interactivity you can add. I'll just go ahead and do multiple choice, and it's very simple. You would just type the question, and then you can add answers, you can add answer options, and let's take a look quickly where it says advanced. So by default, they must answer the question, and it's going to pause the video until they have responded. You do have some other options. You can randomize answers. You can allow them more than one attempt, and you can determine how many attempts, and you can also allow them to rewind afterwards. So those are all extra options that you have. So I just type my answers. I can mark. Notice it does have a rich text editor, so you can add some audio, images, and some other things in there. You'll just want to mark your correct answer and choose done. Okay, and then we can move along. Notice there's now a little white dot at the bottom of your timeline indicating where the question was added. So again, you can go through. If you wanted to, you can choose any of these other templates just to tack them on at the beginning or end. Okay. When you're all finished, you're going to click on the review option. You can add a learning objective, tags. You also have some options here for playback. So again, by default, the students cannot fast forward the video. And it's not going to allow them to skip over things. So that gives you a degree of control that they're not, I mean, technically they could walk away, but they're not able just to fast forward and rush through it. So when we're all done, we'll click Save and Exit. And now we see our new bulb appearing at the top. Now, I previously mentioned that you're going to need to add a class if you intend to collect the data from your interactions. So under classes, you would just do add a new class, give it a name. You can choose a folder color if you want to keep color code your classes, and click Save. If we go back now to the Bulbs tab, we can now assign this by coming over to these three dots and do Assign. And we're going to choose our class and click inside the box where it says Unassigned, select Date, and that will let us choose when we're going to make this available. For the students, when you go into your class, I'm going to bump back to the class area, and we're going to look at, we'll go into this class, and we can see these are the bulbs that were assigned to this class. There's a gradebook area, and then there's an area for learners. So we'll click on learners, and you've got two options. You can either upload your learners by adding a CSV file, which is the much more complicated version. The easier one would be option 1, and that is to have the learners enroll themselves. So you can just use this class URL and you'll highlight it and copy paste it. And so you can put that in an email or in D2L, and the student will log in. Notice this class code is the same as the end of the URL, so you don't need to even worry about this class code. When they go to this website knows that they are trying to sign up for your class. They can use their Hawkmail accounts as Google accounts to sign up for your class, or they can use another email if they choose. And so once they are in, they will see something like this. This is the student's view, and they would have a class. And here we can see that demo student has completed both of these activities. If they did not, it would have a red not started, and they could click on it and go in. So going back to the teacher mode then, when we have some students who have done some work in here, we can see this student has spent quarter of an hour here, and they attempted 2 bulbs. Remember, we've got a 100 attempt per calendar month on the bulbs. So you can see this student has taken up 2 of them by reviewing 2 bulbs. The grade book then allows you to take a look at, so it'll have the student's name listed, and it will also have which bulbs that they worked on. And we can see at a quick glance, they got 3 out of the 4 correct, and we can actually go in and see specifically then what they had done. So here we can see all the interactions along the bar up here, and we can see how they responded. Okay, so this was a written response, and by clicking on this, I'm able to see the question and how the person responded. So you can technically export this. If you were wondering, is there any way that this can integrate with the D2L gradebook? Given that this is a free version, we don't have any sort of integration with them. I think even if you upgraded to a pay-for version, that integration doesn't exist. So if you were actually planning to use this for a quiz, you would need to make sure that you manually transferred the grades from PlayPosit over into your D2L gradebook. I hope you found this helpful, and please feel free to reach out if you have any questions.